Welcome to episode 4 of hashtag AskATC. Remember, you can go on our Facebook page or our Twitter page. Both of them are facebook.com or twitter.com/ATC Midwest, and pose a question to us, and we'll do the best we can to answer it for you, just using the hashtag AskATC first, and then post your question. So welcome to episode 4, the very first one of 2016, and I can't wait to see what the first question is for 2016. Welcome to episode 4 of hashtag AskATC. We've received a great question on our Facebook page from Michelle Loriso, and Michelle has asked us, hashtag AskATC, as a teenager, what steps are needed to take to get an apprenticeship or traineeship, and how does ATC support them through the whole process? This is a great question, and one that I'm not going to answer. What I've done is I've brought these amazing people here from ATC who are going to answer this question for us, because these are the people who would be taking the apprentice or the trainee or the potential apprentice or trainee through those steps and managing that process and how we handle them. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you first to Marina, the recruiting machina of ATC Midwest. So Marina, when you think about Michelle's question, what steps are needed to get an apprenticeship or a traineeship, and how does ATC support them through the whole process? You know, give us the bullets. What is it that we can do, or what are the steps that they should take, and what can we do to support them through that?
First step is connecting with ATC. So there are a couple of ways people can do that. They can come in and register with ATC and hope that I'm going to call them.
Yep.
Or they can apply for a particular position that I've advertised. So keeping an eye on the ATC website, Midwest Job Seeker, Seek. We advertise in the local newspaper from time to time. But the ATC website, every single job that we advertise goes on there.
Yep.
So that's a great place to start. I really advocate people be proactive. If they would like to register with ATC, make a phone call and ask to speak to me, make a time to come in and meet me, and then we can do our one-on-one. I can help the person in any way that they need. We do like to help people understand the requirements of a particular trade and work with them to understand their aptitudes and whether they're going to be a good fit for that trade or not. Really important to have, your red hot resume ready to go, cover letter ready to go. If people don't have those, if they can bring whatever they've got, we can help them with that. Making sure you've got your referees lined up, got your school results, any certificates that you've achieved, any awards you've been given, that kind of thing. Is really great to come in with all of that information so that we can start painting the picture, which is the picture that we're then going to present to a prospective employer. Great.
So basically keep your eyes on the job boards, obviously the ATC website without a doubt, because we post all apprenticeships and traineeships there. You look at any job boards and things like that to there. Make sure you have a resume, have a really good cover letter that's relevant to the role.
Absolutely.
Perhaps, yeah. And then make sure in your resume, all these things a lot of people tend to forget, don't they, about their certificates and things that they've accomplished and awards and all those sorts of things.
Community involvement.
Right, community involvement, yeah, sports clubs, all those sorts of things. So make sure that's jam-packed. And if you're not sure how to put that together in a meaningful way into a resume or a CV, then that's part of what we can do to support those people looking for an apprenticeship or traineeship.
Absolutely.
So that was some really sound advice from Marina. Now, we've also have with us here Laura, who's our Training and Development Officer. And Laura, you've been through 3 traineeships.
Oh.
Right, so Laura has a lot of experience, obviously, as a personal experience going through traineeships, but also as our Training and Development Officer, would have a lot of ideas in the sense of steps and the process and how we can support that. So, what are some of your thoughts that you could share with people?
Probably the best piece of advice I would have is to figure out, I suppose, what industry and what occupation you'd like to enter into. Obviously, so you're not then blindly applying for positions and actually giving real workplace things, just trying to go. Work experience, I'd say, is definitely the best option to do this. That way, you can figure out sort of what you want to do. Give it a bit of a go if you like the industry. Maybe you've got an idea that you really want to do that, and maybe go out for a week's work experience and find that it's not for you. Work experience as well for an employer, I would say as well, looks really good on a resume. Once you've figured out what you want to do as well, you can put that like on a career objective for your resume.
Yep.
And career objectives, I find as well, the employer really enjoys having a career objective on there because they can see that you've thought about what you want to do,
Right.
and that you definitely are interested in that position and you definitely want to work in that industry.
Okay, cool. So obviously, some ideas of some career goals. And once again, sometimes younger people are not sure exactly what I want to be when I grow up. Geez, I haven't even worked it out yet myself.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, what are some things that interest you in a job or a role? Working with people or not working with people, with technology, whatever it is. At least get some sense of idea of some things that you're interested in.
Yeah. And
So,
like Marina mentioned as well, they can always come in and have a meeting with Marina and she can sort of help them figure out what they may be interested in. And just say if they are interested in a particular industry, she can let them know sort of what the expectations are and what that industry involves, and that can also help them figure out whether they would be interested or not. Like, just say for example, if someone wanted to work outdoors, an indoor, like an office position wouldn't be for them.
Yeah, and we have some tools, some career tools that people can use. So if you're not sure, come in, we can look at personality types and career types and things like that, which are best suited and all that sort of stuff. So we have a lot of resources in that space. Obviously, getting an idea of the top part of your resume, career objectives and all that, once you've got some idea of goals and things you're interested in, always a great thing. What are your thoughts on, if there are still students in school, what about school-based traineeship, school-based apprenticeships?
I personally actually started my career journey on a school-based traineeship as well. I found that hugely beneficial. I went in and didn't have a clue what I wanted to do, and I did mine in a Cert 2 in business. I've actually found just by doing that I've really, really enjoyed the business, and since then I've carried that along that path. So I would definitely recommend a school-based traineeship. Especially through group training as well, it really helps. I mean, just say if it doesn't particularly work out with one host, we can maybe try and find another one. It might not be the industry, it might be just the employer. But school-based traineeships and apprenticeships, that'd definitely be worth trying, because then you can figure that out. If you want to do that at school, maybe finish it. If it's not what you want to do, go into a different area. Yeah,
and I guess something like a school-based traineeship in business can work across many industries. It's some very basic fundamentals of business and administration. So Laura raises an interesting point there, and it's a great segue maybe to introduce David Power, who's our field officer industry consultant, who actually is out in the field working with the apprentices and in the employers with the trainees as well. So when you think about the question, David, the steps and the process and how do we support that, I guess you could probably speak a lot to how do we support a person who wants to become an apprentice or a trainee?
Okay, Dave. So at ATC we have a quality outcome model.
Yep.
So this gives us some very clear direction to what it takes to achieve great things with apprentices and trainees and to achieve success.
Yep.
At the core of this is having a quality candidate, which Marina's sourcing, having quality training, which Laura's certainly helping us out with, and then having a quality host employer. ATC is then the glue holding all of this together, and we add that extra layer of support to the relationship. So we offer mentoring and development. We go out and we assist with certainly career guidance, workplace safety. We can do lifestyle coaching, and on a regular basis we're going out and visiting our apprentices and trainees, and we're doing these things with them. So on a daily basis I'm out on site, I'm talking to these people, I'm speaking with their hosts, their supervisors. We're learning what's working, what's not, what's going well, where can we help out, and we're offering that support. Do we need to be talking more to the training organisation like Durac or whoever the TAFE happens to be?
Yep.
Do we need to be offering some additional counselling? That's what we're there for.
Yeah, awesome. So, because I guess when a person's going through an apprenticeship or traineeship, they're learning stuff off the job and they're learning stuff on the job. Mm-hmm. So, part of the process, and that's what, David's role primarily, one of the key functions is to make sure that learning doesn't go like this or that learning doesn't go like this. So they're learning all this stuff on the job, but it's ahead of what they're learning at the TAFE, or they're learning all this stuff at TAFE and never getting to do it on the job.
That's very true, Dave.
Yeah,
it's very important for us to keep in mind that an apprenticeship or a traineeship is definitely two parts. It's workplace learning and then it's institutional learning.
Right.
And it's very important that we match the learning to what's happening. So again, as you mentioned, no point learning one thing on site and a different thing at TAFE.
Right.
And a lot of the time it can be difficult to come up with this match. But that's what we're here for. We're trying to do that.
Right, and then that's not only how we support obviously the employer with cultivating that apprentice or trainee, but also making sure once again that the apprentice or trainee is getting the learning that they're supposed to be getting. It's never like this, but it's just keeping the gaps under control, I guess, through the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So and when you look at all the things once again you highlighted safety. I mean, safety to us, number one core value at ATC, of course. So, my children have been through, school-based traineeships here at ATC. I know John, our operations manager, his son was an apprentice here. We treat kids like they're our own, make sure that they're safe. I wouldn't put anyone's kids in any harm that I wouldn't put my own in, which is nothing. So we look at that, and also the personal protection equipment and various other things like that. Supporting them with, especially with apprenticeships, paying the TAFE fees up front. So obviously the parents and that don't have to pay that. We organize that ourselves. It's really some cool things that we do to support that apprentice or traineeship through the place.
Absolutely.
Apart from, the great mentoring and coaching and liaising and making sure, especially with travel arrangements, TAFE blocks, all these things that Laura has to do, and then making sure we have the right candidate in the right job and all that sort of stuff through the process. So hopefully that's given you guys some insights into Michelle's great question, which was, as a teenager, what are the steps needed to take an apprenticeship or traineeship, to get an apprenticeship or traineeship, and how does AT support them through the process? Well, part of the way we do it was with these three amazing people doing what they do best, so that, once again, the apprentice or trainees can purely focus on doing what they do best, which is learning their job or their trade. So hopefully, Michelle, that's answered your question. Thanks again for tuning in to #AskATC. Please remember to go to our Facebook page or Twitter page, facebook.com, twitter.com/ATC Midwest, and post your question just with #AskATC. And hopefully we get some more questions that these smart people can answer so I don't have to. But thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next episode.